How would you know if you had been cheated by a casino? The answer is location, location, location. The chances of getting cheated today in a major casino property, next to nothing. You may be cheated by other players. You may get a rogue dealer who for some reason may be adjusting the game, probably for the benefit of a partner. But again, the chances of that are very, very slim. In the bad old days of Las Vegas and Atlantic City, they may have hired bust-out dealers. This is when the mob was running the town. Bust-out dealers were trained to essentially break anybody who was winning too much money in favor of the house. Gradually, as that began to change, the casinos would be very against that kind of thing, although shift managers and people on the floor, in order to avoid going too far into the red, in other words, having a shift where they lost too much money, they may have, without the permission of the house, adjusted the game. You can generally tell if you've been cheated if you've lost in a way that is against the odds. Now, all of us have really bad days. Now, remember, we're playing at a loss anyway. Our expected win rate is a negative. So the chances are you're going to lose a lot of the time, especially if you don't take steps to protect the money that you bet. That's things like basic strategy when you're playing blackjack, how you bet and what you bet on in a game like craps, and basically staying away from games where essentially the whole thing is just luck anyway. What you play is entirely up to you. A lot of people lose a lot of money and say, hey, I must have been cheated. The person that cheated them was probably themselves and their lack of good choices in what they played and how they played. I don't think you're going to get cheated today in major properties. Online, the companies are motivated to protect you and to avoid things like collusion by other players, which may take money out of your pocket, to make sure they offer a fair shuffle. I think if you don't think you're getting a fair shuffle, if you start to think that maybe randomness is not as good as it should be, which happens in some card rooms online, then pick another site, go somewhere else, take your money to another place. But generally speaking, they're not really motivated to fight randomness. The odds are on their side. And if you're offering a card room and players are playing each other and you're taking a small percentage of that, you're always going to make money. Chances of being cheated there by the house, very slim. That's not to say that it can't happen or that it won't happen or that we might find out that somebody has, messed around with the odds. That has happened in the past. But if you think you've been cheated, ask yourself an honest question. Were you really playing the best game? Were you playing with an advantage? Were you giving yourself the best chance of winning in the first place? And where were you playing? Is it a place where cheating is likely? Certainly isn't likely in places like Las Vegas or with major websites.